What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Expand. My co-host, JP, myself, Omar Alfaro. We talk about real estate. We talk about our life. We talk about what rooms that we need to be in. We talk about just everything in general and what's happening in our life. And hopefully it helps you not make mistakes, and it hopefully will help you create that environment that you need to start leveling up your business. So welcome back. I appreciate all of you for plugging in. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you tune in, and we will deliver what we deliver. So, JP, what's happening? We have not talked in a little bit, and there's a lot of stuff that's happening, man. Good stuff, bad stuff, challenging stuff. So I'll let you say a couple things, and then we go into the topic that I want to talk about.
You said something about bad stuff, and the response I have to that is, there is no good or bad without us. Just the story we tell ourselves and the ones we choose to believe.
That's it.
But anyways,
philosophy and shit. All right.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but guys, there's still bad shit that happens, and you just got to deal with it. All right?
He's right. Anyways, no, it's been good. We just got back from WealthCon. I thought that was a great time. I think it's always good to make sure that you're attending, I guess you could say events, masterminds, getting around people that are doing similar things that you're doing, but at a completely different high level. And yeah, just staying business with 60-minute cash offer, expand real estate group. So it's been good on this end.
Yeah, there's a lot. Apparently JP doesn't want to elaborate too much, but we haven't talked about what's been going on, the challenges, everybody wants to be that real estate investor. This is an investor-friendly type of podcast where it'll help you try to get your first deal to flip, to wholesale, to JV partner with us, or maybe even just list a property. If you're an agent out there that's listening, there's a lot of things that we face, and we don't talk about a lot of it. We really don't, because we're just so groomed to just keep moving. And I think that this podcast is for dissecting what we go through.
You're right.
It does give us a lot of information, and it gives the listeners information about, what the fuck are we doing? What are we going through? Challenging and good, and questionable, and, the stuff that we face every day. We think that we just, we're so privy to, or we're so calloused, I should say, that we just keep moving. But other people aren't calloused, and they don't know. So that's our job to let them know.
No, you're right. And I think what happens is, because we do it on such a normal basis, day
repetitive
in, day
level,
out,
yeah.
Instead of reacting, we get into a responding situation
For sure.
to everything that's presented. And, I'm aware that a lot of people react, but as far as shit that goes on in transactions, we went on a listing appointment this past weekend. Seller and the son said he was going to sign the listing agreement.
Yeah.
Everything was great. We sent them to our lender and to get it pre-approved, and my lender called me and was like, hey, the seller's son is extremely, extremely mad at you. He said that you're overcharging him on commission, and you forced him to sign. So
did he even sign?
No, he didn't sign. And
right.
It's one of those things where ideally I don't get too upset about situations that are out of my control. But I got upset about this particular situation because the client was lying about my character.
Mm-hmm.
And, that's, I guess you could say, some things we face, something completely out of our control. But what do they say? Buyers are liars, sellers are worse.
Yeah.
We actually reduced the commission for this gentleman to help him and his dad make a little bit extra money in his pocket, as well as making sure that we secure a replacement home for the son, so he has a home to move into. And there was no push for signature at all. I think I'm probably the least pushiest when it comes to the signature. Most of my appointments, the seller's asking me where the pen is.
Right.
And, that's just not what happened. So he called my lender and just kind of went on a little rampage. But
sure.
Ideally, it's an example of something that's out of your control. People are going to, paint you a certain way, say that you did X, Y, and Z. But in reality, I think you have to know where you really sit in every single transaction, in every single scenario, and in every single relationship. And as long as you know you didn't do anything wrong, I mean, good and bad stuff's always going to be there, but I think the mindset you have towards it allows you to release it a lot sooner than you would.
Oh yeah, I mean, and that's the first time I've really seen you kind of get like flustered.
Yeah.
And it's
I
like,
was just
wait,
irritated.
what? Yeah, I mean, guys, in this business, there's a lot of emotion that goes on, and it's hard not to like be emotional about something. But when you sit back and you become more logical about like, okay, we're buying someone's house, we're trying to sell their home, we're trying to get a listing contract signed, and sellers have that remorse of like, what do we do? Do we just sign? What's happening? Because I've been in this business for 20 years, and I get listings signed, and we get photos taken, and we go on the market with a sign in the front yard. 2 days later, the seller's like, oh my God, what do we do? Can you please remove the sign? Can you please take it off the market? Can you please, please, please? And it's like, okay, I walk you through the whole process, but it's an emotional state for them. And sometimes we have to remove ourselves and be like, all right, we don't get emotional about this because it's not our house to sell, in a standpoint of a listing contract. But when we clarify and when we do our best to convey the message to the seller, what we're going to be doing, then it's like, hey, we conveyed everything to you, and if you change your mind, if you think that you're questioning my character, it's like, I was plain as day. Here you go. So that's sometimes beyond our control. And those are the challenges that we're facing. That's just one. That ain't shit.
Yeah.
That's like, I wish that's all we faced.
But then what's followed up with that is when you stick to your craft, you stay consistent, you don't let one little, what you always say, roadblock in the road that gives you a flat tire delay your whole trip. You literally just change your tire and you keep driving. And you're probably going to get there 30 minutes later, but you're still going to get there, essentially. Yeah. And what happened, the following day, I had a conversation with the seller yesterday. First conversation was probably like 20 to 25 minutes long. And she made it clear to our follow-up specialist, Isaac, who passes the call to me to make the conversion, that she is going to talk to at least 2 to 3 more people when it comes to selling this property.
Right.
You were even standing there on the conversation when she told me that. And my response was, I love that you're going to do that because more information is always better. And what I told her is, if you're going to compare me and to, other investors when it comes to price, I'll be honest, I'm probably going to be last. She was like, wait, what do you mean? I was like, well, since we buy a lot of houses on a weekly basis, we help a lot of sellers sell on a weekly basis, as well as buy and invest. I'm confident that I can purchase your property for this number and not inflate my price and then have to turn around and ask you for
ask for that price.
Yeah.
Right.
10 minutes goes by. She tells me she wants to think it over and let me know tomorrow morning. Well, this morning she texted me saying that she's ready to go, and she didn't talk to anyone else. So I don't think you should let small instances like that where one client, seller, agent, relationship, investor makes a judgment about what you're doing be a definition of what your overall work is, your process. Just stick to it. Like, not every ball is going to go through the hoop. That's what I don't know. It's kind of what I took away from it.
No, that's good
because how many times do we deviate from the process because of like one bad transaction, one bad comment from a client? We think we need to change our whole process, but we don't realize that's been working for so long.
Then why change it? Yeah.
You're bound to hit a pothole in the road.
Right.
Like, the road's not always perfect.
Yeah, the tires wear in your vehicle, period. If you drive more on your truck or you're in your car, you make those long trips, you are going to be wearing your tires. Like, it could take a year, it could take 2 years, right, by the time you get new ones. But that's a perfect example of the journey that we're on. It's like your tire is going to be worn. Your ability, I'm not going to say your character, but the walls that you're going to hit along your journey of a challenge, of rejection, of cancellation, of, character questioning is going to happen.
Yeah.
And that's just in general. I mean, guys, for everybody that's jumping in right now, if you're halfway through it, awesome. But in our business, I've been doing this for 20 years. JP's been doing the real estate aspect of it for 4 years, and 3.
3
No,
years.
4. Is it 4? You're going on 4.
3 years.
You got your license at
This
20.
2021 is when I got
Your license.
my license. And it is currently 2023, and I got licensed in 2021 of June or July. So this
Right.
past month or two,
It's been 3 years.
it's been 3 years since I've been licensed. And
Dude,
this
that's
October, it will be 3 years full time in the
Full-time.
business. In the business, yeah.
That's crazy. 3 years in, almost 4, but nonetheless, I know guys that are 7, 8 years in the business not doing what you do. So just goes to show you that you're plugging in, you're understanding the game, you know what's going on. And for someone that's been doing it for 20 years, I've been the buyer's agent. So everybody knows, buyer's agent, listing agent, investor, buying houses at the listing appointments, having a rental portfolio, flipping houses, wholesaling contracts, JV partnering, renovating other people's houses for them to get max dollars, buying other businesses, etc. So you kind of know a context of what we have going on, and we face a lot of different challenges. And this is what we're talking about. And, what JP just said about, the process of, getting questioned on his character, it affecting him a little bit, and then bouncing back and having a better conversation with another seller, and then we got a contract signed this morning, that could potentially make us a good, let's just call it 30 grand, when we turn around and wholesale it to somebody else, or we take it down ourselves and figure it out, because there's some, conditions on this contract. But this is the part that I love, that when we are faced with adversity, when we're faced with challenges, we always seem to bounce back, and guess what that does? It gives us our confidence back. It gives us the ability to yes, I'm doing this because I know I'm good at it. And I know that we're going to be faced with more challenge. Like, we just left WealthCon, and we were going there, right, to learn more about the business, about being in different rooms, about listening to other people with exits of 50 million, 100 million, people that are doing $1 million, $2 million a month. And I'm going to say that $1 million to $2 million a month, that's their income. Okay? So people that are listening, you have to be around people that are doing that for you to even know it's possible. We can talk about this shit all you want, but if you're not in the right rooms, you won't get that same vibrations that we got.
It's because you can it goes back to that one thing where you can touch, feel, and
Yeah.
kind of see you'll believe it. I mean, perfect example is we know that there's all of these wealthy people in the world because we see them all over social media, but nothing really changes within us until we get in that room with those people and have the conversations where you're able to, share experiences back and forth, struggles, whatever you're going through, whatever's working, whatever's not working. And I think that's been the biggest factor for me in my, I guess you could say, 3 years that I've been working is, I've had a ton, a good amount of, I guess you could say, success, however you want to define it. But it came from just continuing to apply everything that I'm learning, because I think a lot of the stuff that I know, people 10 years in the business also know.
Right.
I just apply it.
And they haven't.
Yeah, so that's this. I see it a lot.
And you take the at-bats, though, too, dude. So it's like you swing and miss a lot.
Well, yeah,
But
I mean,
guess what? You're average.
So did Jordan. Shoot the basket, but yeah.
Yeah. But nonetheless, it's shoot your shot, shoot the free throw, even though if you don't like it, you just keep doing it, you keep doing it. Repetition.
This kind of applies to
everything?
When it comes to just shooting your shot, when it comes to perfect example, dating women. When a guy's scared of talking to a girl, let's just say you see a cute girl in public, right? You're like, oh, she's cute, and you tell your buddy to go talk to her, and he's like, oh no, I'm good, I'm scared,
Why?
she's probably gonna reject me.
Yeah.
And then you ask him, okay, how is your life right now without her? It's perfectly fine, right? What's gonna happen once she rejects you? Nothing's gonna change.
Except a little bit of damn, she didn't like me.
But ideally, nothing changes, and you move on from it, and now you have a little bit more experience under your belt to go talk to the next person.
It's not even experience, man. It's confidence.
Exactly, experience, confidence, call it what you want. But ideally, I think when it comes to shooting your shot, I think when it comes to business, life, relationships,
No, go.
take the calculated risk, but never. It's almost like like walk by faith, not by sight, kind of thing.
Right.
You know?
And we walk by faith, absolutely. This goes to show you too, like if you stay ready, you don't have to get ready. We just talked about that shit earlier. And check this out. We got to WealthCon, and guess what happened? We got there. We we're on 3-4 hours of sleep because we drove in the morning. And guess what? Brian and Ryan, which is Ryan Pineda's event, hit me up and like, hey dude, you're gonna go speak. I was like, really? Yeah, you ready? I was like, yeah, I'm always ready. What are we gonna talk about? Just talk about what you do, what we did, how I started, where we're at now. And I didn't know I was gonna be speaking, but he just said, hey, you're doing it. You got to remember, you have to, if an opportunity presents itself, are you going to pass on it because you're scared, because you're not ready, because you're like nervous? Fuck no. You're just going to go up there and do your thing. Because if you stay ready, you don't have to get ready. If I set you up on a listing appointment, you're going to go knock it down. If I set you up on a purchase appointment, you're going to go knock it down. Not because you have a lot of at-bats, just because you have the opportunity and you're seizing it. You are ready and you're going to perform regardless. Just like you said, your life's perfectly fine without you going on this appointment. So if you get it, it's going to further your career, right? It's going to further your, I should say this, it's going to further your knowledge along with your income after you develop a result for that seller, right? Mm-hmm. So again, this does go into everybody that's listening. If you have the opportunity to do something, do it. If you don't, then you're always going to wonder, what if? You're going to wonder, what if you didn't, rise to the occasion?
You'll just never know.
You'll just never know.
And ideally, it's just like, I mean, I don't know where I read this, but it's like the man that's the happiest is the one that has the least amount of regrets when, he leaves this earth. And ideally, we know that we're all going to have regrets when that time comes. You can't change that because
all of us.
There's a lot of stuff that we wish we could have done differently. We would have done differently. But you have the control of minimizing the amount of those regrets by just acting on, the opportunities you're presented.
Yeah. So, I'm going to sell a couple houses. I'm going to go buy a yacht. Just because.
I think I saw this. Who said
kidding.
this? I think it was Brad Lee. The 50-50. No. It's the 50-50 rule, but he says it's like the 70-30 rule. But he spends 50% of his income like he's going to live 50 days. And then the other 50% of his income like he's going to live 50 years.
That makes sense because, shit, you know what? That right there just hit a nerve. And I've never heard that before. And that's crazy. 50% of your income, you're spending it like you're going to die in 50 days.
Yep.
The other 50% of your income, you're going to utilize it like if you're going to live 50 years. Or more, obviously, or more.
Yeah.
And that's crazy because that 50% of the 50 years will give you more for your family, right? But that 50% of, fuck, man, that's crazy because if I took 50% of my income,
he'd have a Lambo.
Yeah, I'd have a Urus. I'd have a yacht. I'd probably sell my houses. Not all of them, but some of them. And literally go move to a place where it's like, I don't want to regret, so I might as well go do this.
But then
this is crazy.
The other side of that is you're living full out on the other 50%. But this other 50% of your income you have to utilize for the next 50 years. So you're going to be
making the right moves.
You have to. Ultra calculated risk, in a sense, utilizing your money where you get the highest X return. But when I heard that, I thought it was
damn.
It was a little perspective changer for me because
you're young.
Yeah, so it was like, and tomorrow's not promised for anyone. I mean, I'm 24 years old now. I still consider myself pretty young, but I turned 25 in less than 6 months, and to me, that's halfway to 30.
Oh, get the fuck out of here with that shit. And coming from a guy who's 44, you're 20 years my senior. So it's like, really? Like, what is, like, this is crazy because it's you know,
yeah.
I'm looking at it. I feel young. I'm 44, but it's like I will still make the risks that most 24 and 25-year-olds won't.
Right. And ideally, the point that I'm making is, yes, I am young and yes, I have time, but I'm also aware that time is something that, we just never
Can't
get
ever
back.
get back. No.
And I can leave this earth tomorrow because I think I have at least 3 to 4 buddies that I've, known in high school, middle school, elementary,
Yeah.
that unfortunately, since COVID and the coming years, they're no longer on this earth. Rest in
Damn, that
peace.
sucks.
Yeah, and it gets you to reflect on a lot of things. And then, of course, I hear that, the 50-50 rule with
I'm
your
gonna live
income.
by that shit now.
Yeah.
Dude, you shouldn't have said that to me.
I mean, here's the thing. Like, you can, move it around. It doesn't have to be 50-50. Like, you
Okay,
can
fine, 20 or 30%.
It can, yeah, you can do 40-60, 70-30, 20-80. I think Brad Lee said he spends 80% of his income like he's going to
Die.
in
That's
50,
fucking awesome.
50 days, and he spends the other 20% like he's going to live 50 years. So whatever works for you, but ideally, I think it's a good way to understand that, tomorrow's not promised. Take the chances you're presented, but also don't be dumb.
Yeah, don't be done. Don't go blow it on hookers and blow. That's something
That would
you
be
don't do.
terrible.
That'd be terrible.
Yeah.
Don't go
or
gambling.
Don't be like
Don't-
me my first year that I made a lot of money, made $30,000 in 1 month, and I didn't work for the next 3 months, and I
And you
fucked
pissed it all
around,
away.
and I went to Cabo, and I spent $7,000 in 1 week. Don't do that.
Or leaving a wad somewhere and you forgot where you placed it, and there was somebody picked up a wad of cash.
Yeah, but we
that
don't
off-
talk about those things because it's just a
Why?
lesson. You close that chapter, and you just review it to learn stuff. But
That's fun.
ideally, guys, take the chances you're presented. And I think you'll thank yourself a lot more.
Yeah, that's good, man. So, you know what? This was a good show. Just talking about what's happening, and when we get into the mindset aspect of it, we give you guys the challenges that we go through on a daily, and there's so much more to talk about. But obviously, we could sit here for another hour. But we want to make sure that it's digestible for everybody that's listening and watching. So yeah, I mean, we appreciate you guys all plugging in. Make sure that you comment. Make sure you subscribe. Shout us out, and if it helps you guys get through your day, or potentially, helps you with a problem that you do have, reach out to myself and JP. We're here to help you, and I hope this podcast did help you. So until the next one, guys, thank you for joining, and make sure you click that subscribe button.
Take care. Comb your hair. Let's go.
See ya.